Yes, it's official. I'm an owner of a Breitling. Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Now here's a show I never thought I'd make because I've managed to own a brand I never thought I would.
Life's mad sometimes.
But this is a huge thanks to Joma Shop. Yeah. Now I have history of buying budget, affordable and luxury watches from this company and I've never had a problem. Most notably my Tudor Black Bay 58 Blue, which I absolutely adore. Joma Shop can give you a cracking deal and some of the best deals on the interwebs. The only difference with buying with them, you don't get the factory warranty. You get a 2-year warranty from Joma Shop. And them not being an authorized dealer means they can push the prices right down and not be dictated to by the brands. You guys know I love a vintage looking dive watch, with my favourite being the Tudor Black Bay 58. I love a modern watch that's either a reissue or inspired by a watch of the good old days, the 50s and 60s, when a watch was a true tool and the dive watch game was absolutely booming. Now for a few years now I've had my eye on a certain Rado Captain Cook. It's a watch that Rado first made in 1961 and it has that very unusual bowl-like concave bezel. However, doing the research, a certain little brand called Breitling made their first watch in 1957 and it looks as though Rado completely copied them. And I am talking about the 1004 Super Ocean. Look at it. 2020, which is amazingly 4 years ago now, they brought back the looks of the 1004 Super Ocean in what they call the Heritage 57. Now there's a certain watch from that range that I absolutely fell in love with. On Breitling's website, that watch is going for £4,000. On the Joma Shop website, it's going for $3,395, which works out at about £2,650. Don't forget import tax. Now, because I have quite a special relationship with Joma Shop, they basically gave me an offer I couldn't, it's like Godfather. Couldn't refuse. And let me preface this show in telling you this was a decision made using my heart than my head. And there are certain features about this watch that would make me want to dismiss this watch straight away. So come with me on a magical journey with me showing off my first ever Breitling. And you don't want to go anywhere because at the end you'll find my wife's thoughts on my new watch. Are you a Breitling ready? Let's go. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the box too much, but it is a Breitling box, opens out, and the watch was on a roll, which actually turns out to be a little watch pouch. Snazzy. Anyway, here is my Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 57 Outer Known collaboration. This awesome colour dial only comes with this collab. Outer Known are a sort of surfing out in the sea type brand and their work comes in the strap. I'll talk about it in a minute. But look at this thing. Now, even though I have many dive watches, I don't have a dive watch that looks like this. Now, back in the 50s when this first came out, the whole case would have been polished stainless steel, which we have on this watch. And for someone that loves his bezels, well, this is a dive watch with a big bezel. It has a major drawback, but the looks are awesome. It has this like bowl shape that makes you sort of sink into the dial, and that is a Swiss dial. You don't see that often. We've got a signed crown at 3 o'clock with no crown guards, but I absolutely love this dial. A lot of people might not, but this is why we're in this hobby, to seek out watches like this. We've all got our own tastes, and to me this watch is even better in the metal and sapphire and everything else of it than it is on pictures. Quick spec check! Okay, so this is a deceiving part. The big concave bezel gives this watch a diameter of 42 millimeters. However, if you turn this watch around, you can see that the case is about a 38 or 37, which is very unusual for Breitling because they don't tend to make a small watch. But get this dimension, 10 millimeters thick. That is incredible, and there is a reason for that. It's a double-edged sword.
I'll explain in a minute.
We've got a lug-to-lug of 46mm and hopefully a Strapaholic 20mm lug width. Now, unfortunately for me and this watch, it's just a dive style. It's not a proper dive watch. The crown is not screw-in. We have a screw-in case back showing the collab with Outer Known, but the trade-off with having such a thin case is a lower water resistance, and this watch is just 100 meters of water resistance. So that's one of the letdowns of this watch. We have an absolutely gorgeous domed sapphire crystal that really gives off that vintage look. I absolutely love it, and it goes so well with this dial. The bezel, I have a love-hate relationship as well. It's only friction based. There is no ratchet to it. It's not unidirectional like a proper true diver. The friction is lovely. It's very smooth, but it not being ratcheted, able to be turned either way, and the low water resistance makes it just a dive style watch. And it hurts me. It really truly hurts me, all right? Because this watch could honestly have been a rival to the Black Bay 58 just by adding those features. Calm down. However, you know, looking at the dial again, now I remember why I love it. Forgot about those other bits now. It's not a true dive! Shut up, you! Now, this special edition came with an Econal NATO strap. What the heck is Econal? Thank you, I'm glad you asked. This is sustainably sourced nylon. Recycled rubbish? No, not at all. This is nets and sort of, you know, things they found in the sea that they repurposed into this sort of nylon stuff. Sea rubbish! All right, it's recycled plastics from the sea. It's very soft, very supple. I'm not 100% sure that this colorway goes with the watch. The dial is brown, but it's not this brown. The polished stainless steel hardware is very nice. And the feel of it, this is definitely going to be comfortable to wear.
Sustainably.
Okay, let's look at the face.
Dial time.
And although this is a blinged up version of that first reference back in 1957, it is 100% solely inspired by that watch. And I absolutely love these markers. Very elongated trapezoids that are applied on top of a domed dial, and that sunburst coppery brown color is magnificent. Just evokes, I don't know, vintage old days. So we've got some refinements here, especially with that B logo of Breitling. I do love that, but I also love the printed text of Super Ocean below the hand stack. That's really cool. The 12, 3, 6 and 9 markers, well, I absolutely love them. The balance on the dial is superb, and I am also a big fan of the handset. The big tree-shaped hour and the sword-shaped minute. If I'm being truly picky, I would have loved a little lollipop loom on the seconds hand, but that's not how the original was. This is honestly one of the best dials I've seen easily this year. And I know the watch has been out for 4 years, but it just hasn't been on my radar. Breitling really did nail the look of this. It's not a true dive! Shut up. So powering this beauty is an ETA 2892-A2. 21 joules, purrs away at 28,800 beats per hour, 42 hours of power reserve, and is very nice to operate. The bezel does encroach its space onto the crown, so it doesn't make it as nice as it could be. However, the crown is very exposed, and you can easily get your fingers under there. Lovely jubbly!
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and look! A 42mm watch that doesn't look big. In actual fact, this looks absolutely perfect on me. And doesn't she gleam? I'm usually not a big fan of shiny ceramic bezels, but because it slopes inwards, it's not as shiny as most others. Although this NATO is hugely comfortable, I'm not sure the colors work very well with the watch. So what I am really looking forward to is getting a few strap combos to give it some different personalities, you know? And even though it's not hugely sporty, I'm definitely going to be taking this on the tennis court. That ETA is going to purr for me lovely, and I can't wait to attach some memories to it. So there you go, the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 57. What do you think? The allure for me was the brand. Breitlings are way too big usually. These days also they're a bit modern looking, unless you're going for a navy. I love the history of the brand, but they've never made a watch that has called out to me. Until now, I finally own a watch with that concave bezel, and this is where the heart has taken over the head, isn't it? The water resistance too low. The crown should be screw in. The bezel should have a unidirectional ratchet to it. There are certain things I'm gonna have to live with in order to enjoy this watch. Now, $3,395 is a lot of cheddar. We're pretty much into Tudor territory, aren't we? If I was to compare the two, I would definitely still take the Black Bay 58, as I think it beats this watch on possibly every level. But there's something about this watch that does something to me, makes me want to own it, makes me want to wear it, and it's something that specifications down on a bit of paper can't quantify to me. And I'm not going to go on here and tell you it's worth it. It's worth it to me, and I want to experience it, I want to own it. Are the positives going to outweigh the negatives? Only time will tell. Lazy pun. So here it is, my wife's thoughts on my new Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 57. Hate it. Looks like an old lady's brooch. This might be one of her best reactions, that one, but it's safe to say she's not a fan. Thank you so much to Joma Shop for sponsoring this show and for giving me a great deal on this baby. I've put the link to their website in the description below. Again, I've never had an issue buying from Joma Shop. You've just got to be wary of that import tax if you are outside of the US. Thanks for watching till the end. Click there to join the Madge Watch Collector channel. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this one? This is a superb show. Yeah. Made myself a bit dizzy there, but go on, click it, it's phenomenal. Go on, click it, click it.